Today I will introduce you to Adobe Illustrator and we'll make a simple emoji design. So go ahead and open up AI, that little orange AI stands for Adobe Illustrator, and click on New File button and just see if you can find a letter. It doesn't really matter the size today, it's just a blank document, and click Create. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the tools just like we do in Photoshop, and we're going to be using the selection tool, which is that top black arrow, and we're going to be exploring these shape tools. So go ahead and select the ellipse tool, like the circle tool, and click and drag. Now if you hold down the Shift key on the keyboard while you click and drag, you'll get a perfect circle, and we're doing an emoji, so that would be appropriate. You can replace the shape by clicking on the selection tool and then get it right into the center of your screen if you'd like. On the right hand side of the screen, in the properties panel, you'll see all kinds of information. And we're not really playing with the AI tool right now, so I'm going to click on this little arrow to get that out of the way because we really want to look at the appearance area over here. If you click on this white square next to fill, this will be your fill color. You can choose whatever color you want for your emoji. Stroke refers to the outline of the shape. So go ahead and choose a color for the stroke, and then also notice if you click on this little up arrow, you can increase the thickness of that outline. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is next to the properties panel is the layers panel. And if you click on this little arrow down, you can see all the different layers in your document. Every time you make a new shape in Adobe Illustrator, a new layer is created. I'm going to lock down this base layer of my emoji so that when I'm building my face shapes on top of this, it doesn't move around. So if you just click next to the eyeball, you'll see a little lock appears, and that means that I cannot now edit or move around this circle, which is going to be good for what we want to do. Now I'm going to make an eyeball shape. So if you want to make a shape that doesn't exist over here, you need to create your own shape. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to select the circle tool and make a circle. Now I'm going to actually do just a circle right on top of that, so they're overlapping. Now if I take my selection tool and select both of these circles, and I do that by holding down the Shift key, so I'm just going to click away so you can see one circle selected, hold down Shift key, second circle selected. I'm going to go back to my properties panel and find the pathfinder. This is how we can add and subtract shapes together. If I click on that first icon, it will unite those shapes. So see, he has sort of a blob shape now. I'm going to do a Command Z to undo, and I'm clicking on the minus. That takes the shape that's on top and takes it away from the bottom shape. And you can kind of see now it looks a little bit like an emoji smiling eyeball. So maybe I will fill that in. Now I can just copy this shape by just Command C or Control C and Command V for paste. Copy and paste just like you would in Photoshop. And now I have my two eyes. Now I'm going to use the same technique to create a little mouth. I'm going to start off by making a oval. And since it's a mouth, I think I will make it pink with stroke none. Now the very first option on these little panels here is a white box with a red line right through it, and that is none. So I don't have an outline. I don't have a stroke on that. But I want it to be a half circle. So I'm going to go back here, go to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle over the top. I know that looks funny to start. Go to my selection tool, select both shapes by holding down the Shift key, and go back to that pathfinder minus, and see that rectangle, that half of it took away from the mouth. And I can, adjust this at this point like that. Now I'm going to show you another little technique on how to modify shapes. I'm going to go back to the rectangle. I'm going to make a little hat for this guy. Fill this with black, so it's a black hat. And notice these little circles on the inside. If I click and drag on that, it actually adjusts the radius. So I'll do that. I'll make another little rectangle on top, adjust the radius. Now I want to join these two shapes together, so I'm going to select them both, holding down the Shift key, and I'm going to Pathfinder and unite. So now I have this one shape. Just like in Photoshop, if I hover my mouse over outside this little bounding box, I can click and I can rotate. So maybe I wanted like a little bit of a jaunty angle. The star shape is really fun in Illustrator. If you go to the star tool, I'm just going to click and drag. I'm holding down. My finger is still clicked on the trackpad, and now I'm moving I'm clicking on the up arrow on the keyboard. Up and down arrow can change the vertices of this. So that's how the star tool works. I think I'll make a little star appear on my hat. Click and drag. Down arrow on the keyboard to make a few less. I'll change this color. And now I go to my selection tool so I can move it into the right place. It's sort of like a little flower on the hat or something. Just also want to show you that in the properties panel here, you can change the opacity of this shape. So you can have it look a little bit see-through. I could also, if I wanted to, play with gradients. If I click in here and click on a little gradient, see how it changed it to a black and white gradient. If I double click on here, let's see, double click up here, then you know, I can change the color if I want. And the gradient tool works just like it does in Photoshop. I can click on edit gradient, double click on the little color here and change the color. Again, just like we did in Photoshop. So go ahead and play around with the details of your emoji and turn it in. And we turn it in just like we do in Photoshop. Once again, you'll go to File, Save a Copy, Save As, or Save a Copy. Make sure that you're putting it in the download folder. The default on Illustrator is to put it in Documents, so you want to pay attention to that. Title it Emoji or something like that, and you can just leave it as a .ai file, which stands for Adobe Illustrator. Save it, click OK, and turn in the file like you would any other file. Have fun!